Yeah.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that automated system? Have you ever considered getting an employee in, for example, to do your edits and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. It's something I'm thinking about quite a lot, actually. So, very quickly about that 4-hour work week. I think the big misleading thing about the title is it's more just it's more about efficiency than it is necessarily getting your work down to 4 hours a week. So that's something he mentions quite quickly in his book, but obviously he doesn't spend a whole chapter going on about that particular point, because like Tim Ferriss himself works extremely hard, even though he could strictly not work. He's earned enough money, he's got enough passive money coming in that he doesn't have to work. But that's not really the point of the book. The whole point of the book that I think is interesting from my perspective is efficiency and how to automate, and just, I suppose, automation is efficiency. So just more about how you can like life hack almost the money side and the business side of what you do. So I've definitely thought about hiring an editor. So obviously I'm not earning crazy money, but I could just about afford to kind of cut my income in half, sort of thing, and pay someone to edit videos. But the reason I haven't is, well, first of all, I've still got that like self-employed like superhero syndrome thing where I wanted to be doing everything myself. So I think eventually I need to kind of weed myself off that. But currently anyway, I think like the editing is such a huge part of the videos I make, especially my YouTube, probably less so more formal tutorial courses I do, which is just like a simple screen share. There's less editing and filming angles and all that sort of stuff involved in that, obviously. But certainly for stuff like YouTube, even just like the cuts you make, and like how you pace it, like an awful lot of time and attention goes into it. Like I'll be moving literally when I'm doing edits, like frame by frame, to get the cuts timing so it flows. Obviously I suppose I think it was PewDiePie mentioned it. Even though, like, have you seen PewDiePie's videos on YouTube?
Yeah, I've by no means watched a lot, but I'm aware of Felix.
Yeah, so he's if you look at his videos, it kind of looks like he's just not really caring, and like he's just like having fun and like throwing it together in no time at all. Like it's just sort of haphazard. But there'll still be 6, 7, 8 hours of editing in lots of those videos, just to get it all perfect. And even like editing all those little like zoom ins and kind of changing the color here, and like a bit flying out here, and like a cut in, and you got a little picture here. All that sort of stuff takes an awful lot of time, and you've not only got to actually create all that sort of stuff, you've then got to figure out the pacing, you've got to figure out the storyline, you've got to make sure it's got a narrative, you've got to make sure, right, I've got a 30-second intro, but is maybe 10 seconds of that not really hooking the listener, so maybe I need to rearrange it a little bit, or redo the intro, or maybe I'll literally be cutting out sentences that I don't think add anything to the point of the video. Whether the video is raw or polished, it actually doesn't matter too much. You still want to be cutting it really carefully. So I have thought about hiring an editor, but I think I would need to be. I would have to have more I suppose more time to train without me. What's the best way of putting it? So it's almost like I think I would need a long time to train the editor to get the editing as tight as I'd want it in my style. I think that'd be quite a long process potentially. I think at some stage I'll get an editor, but probably not in the short term. I think what I'd like to do in the long term is maybe get an editor to do all the stuff, like I suppose like really far in the future, then doing stuff like color grading and color correction stuff that I'm not very good at, which is just like a procedural thing. And also doing things just like a rough edit. So then I could kind of go through it and tidy it up if I needed to, or just sign it off as being okay. I think that would be good.
Yeah, so you can have all of the admin side of it done. So when you come to edit it, you are putting your cuts in, you're getting the narrative done. But it's like having someone else do your recording and you come to mix it effectively. Everything's recorded as perfect as it possibly can be. It's ready for you to go and do your work on it. So it just saves you a few hours per day potentially.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose a good analogy would be, if you look at the top mixers like Dave Pensado and stuff, they have an assistant to organize the stems, because when you get sent 120 stems from a massive project, you have to organize the stems. You have to cut out the sections of silence, so you're not so you're looking at an organized project. So so the top guys like Dave Pensado and stuff, they'll literally that process of organizing stems and kind of grouping all the vocal layers and chopping it all up so you can see visually what tracks are coming in when. That stuff literally takes just as long as the actual mixing process. They have an assistant working almost like 180 to them. So the assistant will work half a day on organizing, then Dave will come in and just do the mixing, and then the assistant starts organizing the next track. So they're just almost on rotation, just having an assistant doing the tedious admin, but then Dave Pensado is there to do all the judgment basically, and all the creative stuff, which you can't outsource, because there's only so much outsourcing you can do. And I suppose that's one of my contentions with the 4-hour work week, is it doesn't seem to place much value on creating good work. I think that there's a time and a place to outsource things that aren't creative, but then he doesn't seem to place too much value, at least not in the book, on creating good stuff, which you can't outsource really, to be honest.